Hello, welcome to the video. And have you ever seen 1989's Kickboxer? Well, if you have you ever wished, wow, I wish this was significantly worse, then this is the movie for you. And funnily enough, this is the second movie I've done about kickboxing, and in this one's defense, it is actually about kickboxing. The other one was just full of karate, despite being called Kickboxing Academy. I can't really explain it. Anyway, without further ado, this is King of the Kickboxers. So the movie starts with our main character Jake and his older brother in the year 1981, with his brother just having won a kickboxing tournament.
I really love being here. Thanks for bringing me.
I wouldn't go anywhere without you, little brother. You're a big reason why this dream's come true.
Now this is painfully acted dialogue, but not only is it painful to listen to, it also makes it painfully obvious as to what's going to happen next. You don't have to see the original film. Like, I knew exactly what was going to happen when Jake said that.
I really love being here. Thanks for bringing me.
So they get jumped by the main baddie, Khan.
You shouldn't have won the fight tonight. And you won't win this one.
You know it's going to be a good action movie when sand sparks from bullets and any vehicle in the vicinity explodes. You may also notice that Khan's acting is fucking terrible, but thankfully he makes up for that with fight scenes which are actually really well done. So I'm going to give you one guess as to what happens next. Yeah, he dies in the least surprising death I've ever seen. I mean, ever since I heard.
I really love being here. Thanks for bringing me.
Anyway, we cut to 10 years later in the year 1991, where Jake is now working as the world's worst undercover cop.
You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
You would think criminals who are bringing in thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of cocaine would be smart enough to figure out that that man's an undercover cop. He's wearing a black bandana, sunglasses, and he's even smoking a cigar. If you googled criminal costume, that's basically what would be the first result. So in true rebel cop fashion, he reveals that he is indeed a policeman.
Here's my badge, and I'm wearing a wire.
And starts beating them up in an action scene which is actually really well done. And we do learn what an utter psychopath this man is, because he goes as far as burning this bloke's head with a heat lamp. Now, I know he's a criminal, but if you didn't know, the police's job is not actually to attack criminals with heat lamps. Although at this point, I want to mention this guy is the least likable main character I've ever seen in a film. Now, he's a lot of fun to watch, but he's every bit as psychotic and insane as the criminals he's fighting, and he's just as willing to kill them, only he'd rather do it with his hands and not a gun, which just makes him more psychotic. So after getting a message from the captain, he's told that he has to go on a new assignment in Thailand, as the bad guys are running an illegal snuff movie business, and thus he has to go over there, pose as a fighter, and arrest them. Of course, Jake doesn't want to go to Thailand, but the captain gives him some evidence of the snuff movies they're making so he can make his own decision. And again, I saw exactly what was coming, because this film's plot is about as transparent as a broken window. And then we catch up with Jake in his 2-story apartment, which is clearly in a block of 1-story flats. Also, it's far too nice to be in a block of flats like that from the outside. Doesn't make any sense. But we do get introduced to my favourite character of the film, Jax the Labrador, because he's definitely a very good boy. Jake, of course, in a twist everybody saw coming, sees the man that killed his brother on one of the movie tapes and vows to get revenge. Yeah, that's the actual cut. It really does ruin the moment when we go from grieving over the brutal murder of his brother to fanny pack wearing, Hawaiian t-shirt wearing tourist in 10 seconds. So we cut to the villains, And we see what they're actually doing, where they film fight scenes and actually kill the hero. In this case, they hang the poor bastard from a hook and drag him up. Now, these movies must be a bastard to make. And I know snuff films are where you actually murder someone, but seeing as they killed someone in every action scene, and every scene of this film is an action scene, how many people do they go through? Also, the films themselves are the evidence. Why the fuck Jake needs to go over there makes absolutely no sense. After this, we see Jake starting his undercover mission, as any good policeman would do, by beating up the members of the local kickboxing school. This literally has no point. He just walks up to them, gets in the ring, beats up 2 young students and fucks off. Utter arsehole. They did nothing wrong. This guy's just a top-class bellend. We then catch up with the bad guys who are letting Khan choose from this line of women to sleep with.
All the women are beautiful, but I want her.
And of course he chooses one who doesn't want to be slept with. She runs off and is rescued by guess who?
Hi, my name's Jake. You come here often?
Although in this scene, Jake looks like he's been snorting an inhuman amount of cocaine, because he looks like he's high off his ass. And they try and introduce her as a love interest, but I've never seen a less believable on-screen couple. Like, she has the emotional range of a rock, and he's just a colossal dickhead. You just don't like either of them. So the film then cuts to Jake, who is being followed by some bloke from the dojo. You know, the one who basically went up and attacked everybody. And this guy's figured out that he's here for revenge and offers to help him. And in true Jake fashion, he starts a fight with him for no good reason again, gets his ass handed to him. And after, this guy still offers to help. I don't know why, but we learn the location of a master called Prang. I think it's Prang. Apparently this is the only guy who's ever beaten Khan.
He lives north of Bangkok.
Ah yes, north of Bangkok. Now I know exactly where that is. We then see the bad guys who are watching their latest snuff movie, and apparently Khan isn't happy with it.
It's not enough. We can do better.
How's that?
We need more tension.
There was probably a lot of tension on that chain, considering you hung someone from it. So now they get the idea to include people the fighters care about, so they fight harder, and they get more emotion from the fights. And from that, I literally worked out the entire story. It's that easy to work out. It's so generic. We then see Jake, who has indeed gone north of Bangkok, found Prang, and he's being attacked by some random guys that I don't know who they are. And after seeing Prang fight, they end up having dinner, and we get the story behind Prang and Khan.
I had him beaten, but my concentration was broken, as well as 4 of my ribs.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be a good action movie without some training that would kill any mortal man. This consists of being hit with a wooden club, cracking coconuts with your knees, forcing him to do the splits for 24 hours. However, the most ridiculous of the exercises is where he has to block swinging logs, and one of them hits him square in the face. Thankfully, Jake's in the confines of a 90s action movie, which means he's basically indestructible until the final battle. Now, apparently this tree exercise is preparing him for Khan's unstoppable technique, which is this 3-kick combo. Remember the one at the start, the same one he used to kill Jake's brother. I mean, I'm no expert, but that doesn't look very unstoppable. I mean, the first part of it is you jump up and then sort of scissor kick their head. If a trained fighter with good reflexes could just duck under that first part, then it's not very unstoppable. Now, it's at this point Molly just appears at Prang's house. How on earth she got here, I'm not sure. Maybe she just went north of Bangkok like Jake did. And bear in mind, this is the second time we've seen her. The last time we saw her was when Jake saved her, and that was over half an hour ago. By this point, I'd basically forgotten she was in the film. But the movie then takes a break from being an insane action movie to become a horrible 70s porno when they cram in a very forced sex scene, because Jake and Molly need development, of which so far they have had none.
What do you have in mind?
Poor boy has been working so hard. I think you should have a massage, don't you?
Oh yes, definitely yes.
We then get the essential montage of Jake body slamming logs so he can become a master in 3 minutes. No complaints here. The film does montages and fight scenes very, very well. We finally get our first look at police work, nearly 45-50 minutes into this movie, where Jake goes to a fight so he can bait out one of the shady producers to be chosen for one of the snuff movies. There is, however, one giant problem with this scene, and that's the lighting. If it's a problem with the copy I watched, I'm not sure, but there's scenes where the lighting will fully obscure some shots. And after a forced romantic scene, we see Jake on his way to the final battle after training with Prang. And the final battle takes place in this really impressive set, in this massive bamboo cage. It's got spikes on the floor and platforms on lots of different levels. So it's actually quite impressive. Now, of course, before the final battle can begin, we get a twist in that the bad guys have kidnapped Molly and killed Prang. I was actually really annoyed they killed Prang, but Molly survives. I mean, I haven't really mentioned it, but the banter Jake and Prang have is actually really good. It's the only really good interactions in this film, and it's quite funny sometimes. I would have been happy to see Prang survive and Molly just get dropped onto the bamboo spikes. So the final battle happens, and wow, is it fun to watch. It's got good fighting. People jumping from platform to platform, sword fighting, Jake nearly dying on bamboo stakes, and a mistake, I think, I'm not too sure, because they kick each other and it looks like they really do hit each other. And the best bit is Kang, who goes in for one final attack after he's been beaten, being impaled on a bamboo door. And in this scene, Molly keeps calling Jake Jack.
Jack!
It doesn't make any sense. So in the end, he beats Khan.
This is for Molly! This is for my brother! And this is for the life you stole from me, you bastard!
And the police turn up, but they don't actually raid the place. They just turn up and blow it up with RPGs. I'm not sure that's police protocol, to be honest. You know, just turn up and just fucking kill everyone with rocket launchers. But oh well. I really enjoyed this movie. The action and the fighting are good. All the bad elements work in its favour. The horrible dialogue and cheesy acting keep you entertained the whole time. The biggest downside is honestly Molly's character and her relationship with Jake. It just doesn't need to be in the film. Yeah, not to be too mean, but Molly just does fuck all in this film. She really doesn't do anything. I really felt that Jake's desire for revenge because of his brother was more than enough. He just doesn't need to fight for Molly in this movie. It's unnecessary. If you just take away her parts and add more senseless action, this would be a top tier film. So anyone after a solid, so bad it's good film, this is it. Go and check it out. It's on YouTube, so it's easy to find. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.